And we are live yet again for another post-match show following West Ham's first Europa League group stage match, with seeing us defeating Dynamo Zagreb by a score of 2-0. As always, I am joined by my co-host Tommy, and my name is Chris. Tommy, how you feeling, mate?
Feeling really good. And good morning, Neil, who never sleeps.
He
It's
really
6
doesn't.
a.m. No, he's like a vampire or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's feeling really good. Just delighted that we've got 3 points in the bag in what on paper should be our toughest game.
Yeah.
Away to the top seed in our group. Charlie, how we doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Yes. And as always, we are massive, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just delighted. I have to say, I'm still a little bit shocked at how easy that was. I didn't know a lot about Zagreb. I didn't really know what to expect from them, but they do have some experience in Europe. They've played Champions League.
They actually have
you know,
won. I just saw a stat that they had won their previous 13 qualifiers, group stage matches before West Ham, or it might have been home matches.
Yeah, so they've got some form. They've seemed to be a good Europa League team, relatively strong. But I'm just amazed at how easy it was. Frankly,
Yeah,
really, they didn't offer very much. That really surprised me. I didn't expect that.
yeah.
Do you remember? Do you know what it is? Do you remember what it reminded me of? Do you remember last season at home to Liverpool? How angry I was when we did the post-match show because we showed them far too much respect and just stood off them and let them have their way with
Yeah.
us. I feel like Zagreb did the same tonight. I feel like they showed us way too much respect and they just stood off and they looked like they were scared of us.
I don't want to be overly confident because I mean it was a great performance by us, but they did not show us anything. I like I said just before we got started here, right before we kicked off. The only time I was afraid at any point was the first 5 minutes in the second half, and that was just because they had a few challenges or chances. Other than that, I felt comfortable in that match.
Yeah, I was amazed at how comfortable we were. Like I say, the only time they showed any kind of intent was in those first 5 minutes of the second half. And I was starting to think, okay, maybe now we'll kind of see the real Dynamo Zagreb, that they're better than we saw in the first half. But it was fleeting. We just asserted our control again and just said, nope, this is not happening. And again, we just took control of the game again and cruised really to the finish line. So, yeah, I mean, I'm
I will say
delighted to be
too.
honest. I mean, because like I said, I didn't really know what to expect from Europa League.
True.
I didn't quite know exactly how good are these teams in our group that we're going to be playing. And to be honest, after that showing from Zagreb tonight, you have to say that we really ought to be comfortable in this group and finish top.
Yeah, here we go. It's great to come here and be the first team in 14 Europa League group stage games to win at Zagreb. That's massive. That really is.
Yeah, I mean, I remember them last season when they played Tottenham.
Yeah,
And they finished was it 2-2 at full time and went to extra time and they won 3-2 in
yeah,
extra time. So I thought
yeah.
we were going to be facing a
Noble was
really
asked about that one. Noble was asked about in the pre-match or in press conference before that, asking and said, and the reporter pointed out, "Oh, you must have loved that one." And Noble's just got this big old grin across his face.
yeah, why not? So yeah, that's why I thought it was going to be a relatively stern test and that we'd have to be really really good to get a result out there. And before the game, if you said to me, would you be happy coming away with a point, I would have said, yeah. I won't be disappointed at all if we take a point away from Zagreb. But you know, um, having seen them tonight, I mean, Jesus, it has to be said they were very very poor. I mean, they didn't really lay a glove on us. Now I don't know if that's a true reflection of them. It
Uh,
probably isn't really. Like I said, I think they probably showed us far too much respect. I mean, I couldn't believe how they set off. I thought, in those opening kind of 15, 20 minutes that we might have to dig in a little bit and just, get everyone behind the ball, play on the counter until we can get set until the game kind of settles down a bit. Um, but I was just absolutely amazed at how passive they were. I mean, they just came back and they came out, so passive, so defensive. I mean, they basically just let us have the ball,
Yeah. I mean,
let us play it around, and we just were able to have our way with them. And they were offering so little. I mean, I was actually quite stunned at their approach.
yeah, I mean, the first Antonio's goal was a great goal. Exactly what you need a striker to do, just capitalize on those mistakes. But that's exactly that. They also helped us. They just did not play well at all. And sometimes, I mean, great teams also. I mean, it's not just about our ability to play well, but it's also being able to capitalize on their mistakes, and that's exactly what we did. So I think we just floored them from top to bottom, start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, they did not enjoy our high press whatsoever. And I was really happy to see that we didn't go there just to kind of dig in and try and play on the counter. That we went there to press them and get after them, and it led to that opening goal, as you say, because Lanzini kind of ran across to the left-hand side to close down and put pressure on their fullback. And Antonio was alive to it and said, "I'm going to just make this run in between him and the keeper, just in case he tries to make a back pass," which of course he did, underhit it, and Antonio was able to just tip it around the goalkeeper and pass it into an empty net. So, but we did that all game. We made it very difficult for them to bring the ball out. And they did the exact opposite. Whenever we had the ball at the back, they just dropped off and just went
Yeah,
back into their own half and said, "Okay, you can have it in there, but we're going to dig in and around our 18-yard box." And I mean, it was basically kind of a suicidal approach to the game from Zagreb.
and and I'll tell you too. You were saying you would have taken a point going in just because you didn't know what to expect. I would never have guessed that we would have held the most possession away in our first Europa League match. I never would have guessed that. I think it was like 54-46, and for
Yeah, I
most of
mean,
the
yeah, it was
first
crazy. I
half
mean,
it was 70-30.
yeah, even our fans, I don't know if you heard them in the stand, they were singing, "You're supposed to be at home. You're supposed to
No, I
be at
didn't
home."
catch that. That's
It
great.
was, yeah, because you'd think they were the away team, the way they set up. Um, so yeah, I mean, tactically they were terrible. I thought, especially from your manager, when that's the message you get from your manager, that we're going to kind of sit back and try and soak it up, and maybe we'll try and hit on the counter. I mean, it's a very negative way for them to have approached their opening league game at home. Against a team like West Ham, who, okay, we're a very good Premier League side. Cyber leader, how you doing? Um, we're obviously a very good Premier League team, and we're a better team than them. But I thought they would have kind of relished this kind of game and would have seen it kind of as a, like a big cup tie,
Yeah,
and approached it. Let's go and have a go and see if we can get, a really big scalp. See if we can beat a Premier League team. A team that finished sixth in the Premier League and are a really good side. And I thought their approach would be, that they'd really have a go at us. Um, and treat it like a big kind of almost like teams treat FA Cup games if you're a championship team playing a kind of big Premier League team or something that and you're at home and the atmosphere is really great and you go out and it gives you a lift and a boost and you're really up for it and you really have a go. I thought that's what we would get. But they were, to be honest, they were actually pretty pathetic.
I will say, thinking about it on that regards though, I will worry when they do travel to the London Stadium that they're going to basically say to themselves, "All right, we can't let that happen again, and we're going to need to be prepared for them to come at us with everything they've got."
Well, I mean, if things go really well, they might be facing a very weakened West Ham team in that game that doesn't need anything from it,
Yeah,
where everyone's being rested. So, um, hopefully that would be nice. If we go out and win our first four games, um, the Zagreb at home could be a dead rubber. I mean, we don't even know if Zagreb will still be in a position to qualify at that point, given their
yeah.
showing tonight. Genk had a good result, a late winner, 1-0 away to Rapid Vienna. So it looks like, because Rapid Vienna are not a good team. They're not getting out of this group. I think we'll beat them twice. Um,
Yeah, the
so
first time we play them next 2 weeks from tonight.
yeah, we'll beat them. Um, and it would be brilliant to have 6 points from 2 games, a great start. And I think it'll be ourselves and Genk that will go through.
Yeah,
Um,
I could see
Gen-
that.
Genk are the second seed team, but from what I can see, they're probably better than Dynamo Zagreb. Now, look, Zagreb might go and beat Genk. I don't know. There probably isn't much between them, but they're under a bit of pressure now. Zagreb, they've got to go there and try and get 3 points. Um, but that's for them to worry about. We can only worry about ourselves. I think at home to Rapid Vienna, I think we will win. Have 6 points on the board, and we're halfway there.
Yeah,
So yeah, tonight, I just loved every minute of Evening Lee. Um, so yeah, I loved every minute of it. It was just a commanding performance, almost from start to finish. Maybe first 5 minutes of the second half, we said they had a little spurt, but we soon stamped that out. Um, and we had a lot of good performances. I think our players are probably because they maybe didn't quite know what to expect themselves from Zagreb. And, I mean, if you're going to play your first Europa League game away from home to the pot one team, um, and you have any kind of nerves or you're a little unsure, you're a bit anxious, the way they set up against us, Jesus, talk about giving us a perfect chance to settle. I mean, it just
yeah,
gave us the ball. Just camped well inside their own half, allowed us to have our way with them. Our players must have been thinking, well, shit, this is easy. Now, it would have really settled any nerves that were there or anxiousness from our players. Were gone very quickly because they're thinking, you know, this is easy. This is we're passing the ball around. We're in possession. We're in complete control. And then of course we go 1-0 up. I mean, if you're a team um, like Zagreb, I mean, you want to do the opposite. You want to try and put us under pressure, say, look, this is their first Europa League game away from home in Eastern Europe. Let's put it up to them. Let's get after them. Let's get into their heads, make them nervy, see if they'll make some mistakes, see if that'll allow us to kind of dominate them a bit because dent their confidence or they did the exact opposite. They allowed us to settle very quickly, allowed us to build up our confidence. Um, our tails were up very quickly, and like I said, then we went 1-0 up, and from that point on, our players were like, "We're just going, we're going to walk all over these boys. We're too good for them." And
yeah,
so our players' confidence was sky high, and that's exactly how the rest of the game panned out. We just were in complete control. So um, shocking, really, from Zagreb to take that approach, like I say, but good for us. Our players now, going into a home game against Rapid Vienna. I mean, will feel incredibly confident. They're the pot
yeah,
four team. You know, Vienna. So that we're going to be, absolutely feeling our players are going to be feeling like, yeah, we're gonna. We're too good for these. We're gonna come out. We're gonna outplay them. We're gonna dominate them. We're gonna beat them, and that's probably what
yeah.
will happen. So it
I,
was
I
just,
will say, I
it
will
was
say on that
perfect.
note, I will say on that note though, I don't want us getting too confident, like to the
Us
point
as
where
in who? As in the
West Ham,
players.
West Ham. Like I
Oh
don't
no,
want to
no,
like, yeah, I
I don't.
want them to still come in as if it'll be a close game because that once you start getting in that kind of mindset, that's when the complacency kind of comes in.
Leicester Napoli.
Really?
It's 2-2 now. They were
Wow.
2-0. Leicester were 2-0 up.
Wow. Who are the goal scorers for Napoli?
87th minute. Napoli have just equalised.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if Felipe Anderson bags them the winner?
That's Lazio.
Oh, that's it. Oh, why am I thinking? I got them confused. My apologies. That's
Easily
embarrassing.
done. Yeah, I can't see who scored it. I'm not all that familiar with Napoli, to be frank,
Yeah.
with the who's who.
Um, as a side note too, I also want to mention this too. Obviously, being the Croatian league, I can't say I've watched too many matches of Dynamo Zagreb, but my God, we West Ham fans always complain, and rightfully so, about how far the field is away from the stands. That doesn't compare to what Dynamo Zagreb have to deal with. I did not realize it was that bad.
Yeah, that was shocking, wasn't it? The distance, but yeah, it's their number 9, the striker, Osmian or whatever his name is. Um, but yeah, I think that was actually, now you mention it, it was one of the other things I noticed. Usually you go to these Eastern European sides and you feel like the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. It's they're going to be right on top of you. It's going to be kind of oppressive, and it's going to be a kind of big help for the home team. And while their fans were noisy, and to be fair to them, they did create a good atmosphere, um, and they sang for the whole game. It wasn't intimidating whatsoever. A lot of the ground was just empty, so it
Well,
wasn't. It
so
wasn't a full ground. There was only so many of them. They're a good bit away from the pitch. I think atmosphere-wise, our players would have thought this is absolutely
yeah,
fine. There's nothing particularly intimidating about the place. Now it might be different when it's entirely full and the place is rocking or whatever.
yeah.
Maybe it's
So
different.
they have one whole stand, one of the sections
Yeah,
on the long side of the pitch that is actually closed
yeah,
because it was damaged in an earthquake. So, and it was deemed structurally unsound and unsafe. So that's why it's closed. And they're planning on building a new, I think they said a full new stadium on our broadcast. So that's good for them. But I did not realize how far the pitch was away from the stands. You couldn't even see a single fan anywhere on the camera.
yeah. You could hear them, but and they were singing, but um, there was nothing. I thought it might be a bit intimidating, but it was actually quite pleasant for the players. I think it was quite a nice atmosphere. All the singing going on
Yeah.
and stuff, and there was so yeah, and the fans are far away from the pitch. They weren't on top of you or anything. Um, so just all around a very easy night. And to
Yeah.
be honest, the good thing for me is that we were in. See, like when you're in control of a game like that and you're dominating the possession and it's easy, it takes far less out of you physically
Yeah.
than if you don't have the ball and you're chasing down all the time. And you know, it's much more draining to do that. So I think I don't think it will impact us really very much at all as regards our game on Sunday with United.
Yeah, and Lee brings up a good point too. The only negative thing about this match is Lanzini's yellow card, which I'm sorry, that was not a card. That wasn't even a foul.
That was a great tackle.
Yeah, so that is the only blight on this performance, and it's just because poor refereeing. Hopefully, that's not
Yeah.
a factor later on down the road with him.
Yeah, well, look, I get that, but I thought overall, I thought the ref was all right. I don't have any particular issue with the ref.
Well, no, I'm just
I was
saying. I'm
actually
saying with
glad
the
that
forward.
he actually didn't give silly free kicks for very little things. I
Yeah,
thought players went down looking for a few things he didn't give them, which I was really pleased to see. Um, but the funny thing about the Lanzini yellow is he did deserve one, just not for that one. He deserved a yellow for the second one in the second half,
yeah,
where the ref didn't give anything. So the ref kind of got one yellow card for Lanzini correct, just got it the wrong way around. But I'll tell you what, I was at the point when I saw Lanzini go in the second time off his feet, that second one in the second half, and I just thought, "I'll get him off." Just
wasn't shortly then after Saeed was
very shortly after he got the
I was
curly
just like,
finger.
yeah, no, we're not
He got
having this. Yeah.
yeah he got the curly finger. Uh,
He got the
so
decision chair.
yeah, he got the curly finger from Mize after that. So yeah, it was right to get him off because okay, the first challenge was really really good one, but knowing you're on a yellow, you just can't go in like that again, just in
Yeah,
case you mistime it because you're going to get sent off. And we were really really lucky that he did not get a second yellow. Really lucky,
yeah,
and I think Moyes knew it. And Moyes saw that second one. Moyes, I've no doubt when Lanzini made that second challenge, Moyes in his head thought he's got himself sent off. Can't believe it. He's getting the yellow for that, and he got away with it. And Moyes probably turned around to Kevin Nolan or whoever and said, "Get him off fucking now
yeah.
before he goes in
Don't
like
risk
that
it.
again."
Don't risk it anymore. Yeah,
Yeah, Lanzini really got away with one there, and so did we, because you never know how that'll impact the game. You lose a man, it changes the whole dynamic of the game. and it could have cost us. So imagine Moyes will be having a little chat with Manuel
Yeah,
on the flight back, saying, "Why would you slide in like that when you're on a yellow? Why? You know, just stay on your feet." So, but anyway, you know, he hooked him off, and obviously it was fine. But it's great as well. What's really going to help us with these Thursday Sunday games is that you can use 5 subs. You can, if you're in a comfortable position like we were, you can get some of your key players off a bit early. Um, and I suppose as well for Zagreb, they're already 2-0 down. They're seeing players come off, but the players that are coming on are like Bowen and Ben Rama and Yarmolenko, and you're like, fucking hell. It's like, these are not shit players they're bringing on. These are players you've
no,
heard of. You know who they are. These are
yeah,
like
they're in
good.
our rotation. They can
Yeah,
all but Yarmolenko can start in any given match.
yeah. Even Masuaku is too good for these guys. It's we're bringing on players that are like Jesus. They're springing these guys off the bench that are like really good players, and
Speaking of changes, let me get your opinion on this one. I know that a lot of people there was some rumors about it, and a lot of people were upset that it didn't end up coming through. But would you have put Areola in for Fabianski, or would you have kept Fabianski in there?
yeah, I would have played Areola. I don't know why you wouldn't. Um, like even if you're planning on playing Areola on Sunday, which I doubt is the case, I would imagine Fabianski will start at Man United. Um, but it's a strange one not to start Areola in this game. Now maybe he figured, okay, I'm changing out 3 of the back 4. I don't really want to change out the keeper too. He's thinking of the back 5, shall we say. I don't really want to make 4 changes there. It's the only thing I can imagine he's thinking. Um, but I still would have done it. I don't think it would have. I mean, Areola's absolutely class. He's
Yeah,
such a good goalkeeper. I'd have had no qualms about starting him tonight, and I'm disappointed actually that Moyes didn't start him. Not that he'd have had much to do, but it would have been nice for him to make his debut. He'll almost certainly play at home to Rapid Vienna in 2 weeks, I would think, and I think he'll play in the Carabao Cup against Man United.
yeah.
Um, so he will get a
Um,
couple of games soon. But I mean, tonight I thought was a perfect opportunity to bring him
yeah.
in. Yeah,
And speaking of being brought in, obviously Vlasic gets his first start for West Ham, as well as we get to see the debut of Kurt Zuma. I didn't actually hear Zuma's name too much tonight, which I mean, being a center back isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I think both of them had very good matches. I'm very excited to see how they turn out. And then also on top of that, besides just the introductions of the new players, I thought Rice had a phenomenal game again. Obviously, getting the goal, but he's just getting better and better yet again. I mean, we don't even mention him anymore, really, just because of how good he is at this point.
yeah. Rice is just an absolute baller. I mean, he's just an incredible player. Um, he had the awareness to step in front of that pass. He
Yeah,
could see the square ball coming and just jumped right in front of it. It's kind of same thing as like maybe like a pick six in NFL. Where you just see the ball coming before it's thrown or kicked in this case, and he just stepped right in front of it. And that's what he did. He saw the square ball coming, stepped right in front of it, um, brushed off the midfielder from Zagreb, and just absolutely bodied him. Like, just get off me. Um, just completely out muscled him. Was clean through. He looked a couple of times over at Antonio to check his position. Antonio was herring down the middle, which really helped Rice because it kept the centre back more central for longer. Until it came to the point where the centre back thought, okay, now I just have to go towards Rice. But by then it was too late. Rice, it was inside the box, had the angle he wanted, and drilled a perfect low drive exactly where you want to put it in those circumstances, right between the keeper's legs. Because the keeper will have spread his legs. Keepers will always spread their legs, get their stance right so that they can push off left or right if they need to dive and make a save. So there's a real good gap between their legs. And if you can drill it nice and hard right in between, it's very difficult for a keeper to get close to their feet in time to block it. Um, So it was a perfect shot right in between his legs. Couldn't do anything about it. 2-0. And at that point, you knew it was game over.
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely.
as comfortable as we were, as long as it's 1-0, there's always that possibility that they'll nick a bloody goal from somewhere, maybe from a corner or something like that. So as long as it's 1-0, they're in the game. But once it went to 2-0, you thought, right, that's it. It's game over. They're not scoring twice against us. They're not good enough to do it. And we're in too much control. Now, as it
Yeah.
turned out, they didn't score at all. But we had a couple of hairy moments, it has to be said. There was one shot, if you remember, it took a massive deflection. I don't know if it was off Zuma or Diop, but it obviously left Fabianski completely flat-footed because the shot was going the other post. And the deflection took it towards the far post, and I thought, oh Christ, it looked like it was going in, but it just shaved the outside of the post and went
Yeah.
wide, thank God. But that was basically as good as it got for them.
Yeah.
Just a big deflected shot. They were just living on scraps. Fabianski, I think, had to make one other dive for a shot that was hit like across him from the inside left, inside the box. He had to dive at it, and that went just wide. But those were the only two moments really that they had all game, um, which is great. We just kept them at bay with ease, really. And like I say, Diop and Zuma, I think that it was a relatively straightforward night for them. They didn't have to deal with anything difficult, really. It was all fairly straightforward stuff. And I thought Fredericks had a good game. It's a pity he's not a better footballer. I hate to say it, but he has lots of pace and he got into some good positions. But unfortunately, his end product wasn't great. But it is what it is. It didn't
Yeah.
matter tonight because we were so comfortable. But on the other side, I thought Cresswell was just magnificent.
Yeah. Really quickly, I'll have one more question for you, but really quickly, just because it's kind of a running joke. And now Foshizi's in here, it's even more perfect.
We'll have to keep going now, won't we?
Yeah.
Wally and Fove just arrived. We can't really leave yet, can we?
Yeah. But just in case Father Snowman's leaking or lurking in the comments, not commenting, or if he watches it back later, you reminded me with the NFL reference. Sorry about week one there, bud. Steelers over Bills. Let's go. But yeah, the last question that I kind of have for you is, who would you say your man of the match is? And everyone in the chat, feel free to put their responses in as well.
I'm going to give an honourable mention. I'll do the honourable mentions before I get to the man of the match. So I'll drag it out a little bit. I'll keep them all in suspense. Flash, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he's bloody quick. And it caused trouble. It did cause them problems.
It does.
But he had so much space out on that side, I couldn't believe. Anyway, I thought first honourable mention is Cresswell. I mean, what a swan song he's playing having to his career. I mean, Cresswell was absolutely brilliant. There was one point in the second half, he did a piece of defending that was just absolutely brilliant. He had one of the wingers right up against him and in loads of room, and his poise was unbelievable. His positioning was immaculate. He was side onto him, and this guy could cut inside, he could go outside. Cresswell cut off the inside avenue without giving him too much the outside. Then as soon as the guy took the opportunity to go out on the outside, Cresswell was waiting for it. Went stride for side, got himself between him and the ball and shepherded it out of play. From what was looking like a potentially dangerous situation, Cresswell just saw him off with all of his experience, and it was absolutely magnificent. I actually applauded, and if I hadn't been so lazy, I would have stood up too. It was absolutely magnificent defending from Cresswell, and I thought he had a brilliant game. I mean, he's belying his age and what we expected. I remember the end of not last season, but the season before. I'm thinking, we have to replace Cresswell. He's going to be on the downhill now. He's getting older, and what the fuck do I know? I mean, he was brilliant. He was brilliant last season. He was brilliant again tonight. I mean, the guy is just so good. He's definitely one of the most underrated left backs in the Premier League. he's absolute quality, Cresswell. You have to say. I mean, and that's before, and he's still getting up and down the wing. And his crosses are still fantastic. Um, yeah, just what a player! I just love Cresswell. I have to say, I think he's brilliant. So he was excellent. I thought Socek again was all over the place in midfield. Put in a massive shift, got on the ball all the time. His passing was really good, really crisp. His defensive work was excellent. Really impressed with Socek again, but that doesn't surprise anyone anymore. We know what the quality he has. Antonio was always absolutely bullying people. The runs he makes, his pace, his power. Um, so Chris Antonio, I thought was really good. Did what we just take for granted now that he does every game. Bagged himself a goal again. That was a brilliant run to anticipate the back pass to the keeper. He caused them problems all night. But I have to say, before that, Zuma, I thought had a really good debut. Really good debut. It's great for him to get 90 minutes under his belt.
Yep.
Hi, Rebecca. Just saw you in there. Mwah. Hope you're well. But man of the match, sorry. I can understand full going that way. But I have to say, I thought Declan Rice was absolutely imperious. He was all over that game. He was just head and shoulders above anything Zagreb could offer. You could see he was just different class to anything they had in that midfield. You could see, the confidence in him, his ability. You can see he's an important player for England in the midfield. He is becoming one of the best DMs in the world. He was superb for England at the Euros. He was not out of his depth in the Euros whatsoever. Even in the final, I couldn't believe he got taken off the game he was having, and that was against Italy. A really good Italy side in a
Yeah.
final. He was shining in that game. He was standing out, and you just feel like tonight was just easy for Declan Rice. I mean, the ease with which he scored that goal, just stepped in front of the pass, brushed the player off, drove towards goal into the box, and then drilled a shot under the keeper. It was like, I can do this all day. He's just an unbelievable footballer, and we're absolutely blessed to have him.
Yeah.
Absolutely blessed.
You'll
He was man of the match for me. He was brilliant.
you'll be happy to know that you're in agreement with 62% of West Ham fans, according to the Twitter poll on or on the official account. He was named man of the match by the fans. Surprisingly, actually, second place was Kurt Zuma at like 13-14%, and then Fredericks and Mikel Antonio both at 10%.
Yeah, I don't have too many arguments with that. I thought Fredericks was good. If Wally's
Yeah,
still watching,
yeah, he's there.
don't worry, Wally. There won't be any Frederick slander from me. Um, yeah, but
nor me.
to be fair, I think it was probably as easy a night as a lot of our players have had. So,
Oh,
we
that's
got
right.
in some really good positions.
All right. Yeah, that actually is a tactic. Like that's Moyes' tactical genius, letting Soufal rest before having to go up against CR7.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. Be nice if Kufel puts him into the stand first time he runs at him. Uh, yeah, but yeah, it was an easy night basically.
Yep. Becca, we've already actually
yeah,
talked. Yeah, we touched on
yeah, we
this.
talked about it a few minutes, Bex.
Yeah,
I was surprised. Yeah, just to recap for Rebecca, because why wouldn't we? She's
the
worth it.
woman who made a background.
Yes. How could I say no? How could I ever say no to Bex? Um, but yeah, I was surprised, Bex, that Areola didn't start. I really thought he would. I'm not sure why he didn't. I said earlier that perhaps because Moyes had made 3 changes, fourth one back there, or perhaps he's planning on starting him against United, although I doubt it. I think Fabianski will start at Old Trafford on Sunday. But I do think we'll see Areola in the Carabao Cup at Old Trafford, and I do think we'll see him at home to Rapid Vienna. But Bex, I would have started him tonight. I suspect
Yeah.
you would have. I think a lot of West Ham. I think most West Ham fans would have put Areola in tonight.
I think I
So
think that was the
I
only
was
that
surprised.
was the only disagreement.
Yeah,
I think yeah.
yeah. No, when the team came out, I was happy. I thought, okay, I'm really happy with that because I wanted Zuma to make his debut, and I don't have a problem with Diop in these games. I think Diop's
No,
more than good
nor do
enough
I. Diop
for
actually looked decent.
yeah, he's more than good enough for Europa League level. Obviously, with Cresswell at left back, so he's as dependable as they get. And I thought Fredericks is again perfectly good enough for the group that we're in. Not so much later in the tournament, when it gets serious, but for the group we're in, yeah, I was very happy with the starting lineup. I was delighted to see Rice and Soucek. I was wondering if, because there was the possibility that he could have said, "Oh, let's put Noble and Krell in there," which I would not have
That's what I
wanted
was
at
afraid.
all.
I was afraid that we were going to try and play a little bit of a weaker squad. Oh, we have United on Sunday and then United again on the following Wednesday. But I'm glad that Moyes went fairly strong starting 11.
Yeah, I was really happy. I think we knew Antonio was going to play up top because he's suspended on Sunday, so there was no reason not to. But I was just wondering, like say, about the midfield, about the Rice Soucek, would it be Krell and Noble? Would it be Krell and either Rice or Soucek, or Noble and either Rice or Soucek? So I was really happy to see them. And again, above, I was hoping to see Vlasic make his full debut, which he did. Lanzini, again, no problem with Lanzini at this level. So yeah, I was really figured would probably play. Sorry, I think you lost me there for a second, but yeah, I
Yeah,
was very
yeah,
happy with the lineup. And someone mentioned in the chat there, it was great to see that Moyes is taking this seriously because
yeah.
that's
I
ultimately what we
think
want.
so.
We make no mistake, we are capable of winning this tournament.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we have to go for it. We absolutely have to go for it.
Yeah,
So
I
like Leicester Napoli tonight was 2-2.
okay.
We're every bit as good as those teams. Every bit as
Yeah,
good. We've proven it against Leicester. Last season, did the double over them, beat them at our place relatively comfortably again. The beginning of this season, so we're capable of beating any team that we're going to come across in this tournament. So we have to go for it, and it starts by winning the group, which means we don't have to play in the round of 32 against a team that's dropping down from Champions League. We go straight to the last 16.
yep,
And that's 2 less games, which also will help.
absolutely.
So let's go and win the group. Um, and let's go win our first 3 games, get 9 points in the bag, and then you can kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit because you're basically there at that point that you feel like you're going to really realistically top the group because I think we have Rapid Vienna at home next. Then we play Genk twice. So if we can, beat Rapid Vienna, um, and then even get 4 points off Genk. I mean, that's us. We're home and hosed. We're going to top the group,
Yeah,
and we've got to try and do that. It would help us a lot to do that.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm a happy hammer tonight. I mean,
I think we all are.
it was just we were really good. We just were. I mean, we barely gave them a sniff all game, and it was great to see. It was apart from the fact it was great to see West Ham playing in Europe in the Europa Cup, Europa League. It was great to see us perform and to just brush aside a team with bags of experience, playing European football. I mean, it wasn't an easy trip to make. Your opener in the Europa League, so it was great to see a massive confidence boost. Because, like I say, there was a lot of uncertainty going into it. We didn't know
Yeah,
like how good exactly will we be against these kinds of teams. Well, now we know that we're far too good for them.
yeah. Well, listen, obviously, very happy to be a West Ham fan tonight. Feeling good going into this weekend, and then uh,
Yes.
and then the following match on Wednesday. Little bit of business. First of all, again, sorry everyone that we were unable to do a post match show after the Palace game. Obviously, ended up not being the worst game to miss post match show. Schedules didn't line up. Things just didn't fall into place. So apologies for that. Sunday match,
interesting one from Fo there that we look like a seasoned European team. We did, and I think actually, if you look at our starting 11, I think there's only about 2 players who started that game who haven't played any kind of European competition. I think 9 of the 11 have played European competition before. So they were familiar with it. So we were newbies as a club to the Europa League, but the players on the pitch actually largely were not. There's a number of players on there that have got plenty of experience with playing in Europe, and that would have been a massive help, to the way we played tonight and how confident and relaxed we looked.
Yeah, I wholly agree. But yeah, listen, looking forward, this Sunday's match, Tommy and I are going to have to talk about it a little bit just because I'm actually going out of town starting tomorrow. I'll be flying back into Columbus around 1:20, leaving the airport from my trip at noon. So I should be able to watch the match before the flight. Just got to figure out timing because Sunday is also NFL football day. So and my team plays on 1 o'clock. So,
well, like I say, you can get someone to stand in. It's no problem.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
If we talk very nicely to Bex, she might join me for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever, we'll figure something out. And then we'll be back here next Wednesday, obviously after the EFL match against United again. So we'll be able to talk United twice in 1 week. Yay!
Yes.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it has. This was a real fillip, tonight. Last season was amazing, and tonight was just another brilliant thing. It's just nice to feel good as a West Ham fan about where the team are and how they're playing. We haven't had enough of this.
Wow, seems like people are wanting Rebecca badly.
I'll make it worth your while, Bex.
So there we go. Rebecca might be replacing me if possible. If not, we'll figure out something. There will be some sort of show on Sunday.
Yes.
But yeah, listen, great to get off the mark in Europa League with a nice, comfortable win. Looks like we've been here for a while. The next Europa League match isn't for another 2 weeks, at which point it'll be against Rapid Vienna. So hoping for another win on that one. Plenty of matches between here and there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the chat, as always. Thank you again, Tommy, for joining me again. And until next time, come on, you Irons.
We're fucking massive.